Hello lovelies, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about Anna Nicole Smith's diet. So I spent the last week or two doing a lot of research on Anna Nicole Smith and watching different documentaries about her, and her story is so tragic. It actually seems like it should be a screenplay, and I was really interested in learning more about her, and I just honestly couldn't stop. Once I started researching her, I just dove right in because she's such a fascinating person. And Anna Nicole Smith was born Vicki Lynn Hogan on November 28th, 1967, and she has become almost an occult American cultural figure of the 90s and early 2000s. And she first appeared in Playboy magazine in 1992 and made a name for herself as a modern day Marilyn Monroe. And it was really fascinating to kind of see the comparisons, and I feel like that would almost be another whole video to compare the parallels between Marilyn Monroe and Anna Nicole Smith. And she really started out as that kind of all-American girl from the South, and she kind of had that classic story of being discovered. And she actually even married an 89-year-old Texas oil mogul, J. Howard Marshall, when she was only 26 years old. And Anna Nicole Smith definitely loved food, especially Southern fried Texan food. And she obviously felt the pressure to be thin because she was popular in the 1990s, and the look of the 1990s was that ultra kind of almost emaciated thin look, kind of like Kate Moss. And she actually later endorsed a diet pill called Trim Spa, but I'll get into that later. And Anna would definitely stress eat. So she gained a lot of weight after the death of her second husband, and the tabloids were so cruel to her in the media, and she felt super stressed and depressed, and this almost made her want to binge eat even more, and she really couldn't quit eating. She almost went overboard on everything and kind of was an excessive person, so she couldn't really do things in moderation. And after her husband's death, she admitted to taking painkillers and went into a coma, and she said she almost died and had to learn to walk again and go into rehab. She said while in rehab, she was torn down and told that she was nothing. And she says, quote, "They say you're crap. They say stuff like you're no better than anyone else. It was just horrible," she explained. And the media became almost obsessed with her weight, especially since it fluctuated so much, and in the 1990s, people weren't body positive. So it's definitely a different time than it is now. I feel like the media is a lot more forgiving, and I feel like the look nowadays is more voluptuous and body positive compared to the 90s. And in 2004, Anna revealed to the public that she was using Trim Spa to lose weight, and she did this by making an appearance at New York Fashion Week with a slimmer frame and told everyone that she used Trim Spa to lose 69 pounds. And Trim Spa was a dietary weight loss supplement designed to support weight loss, and it contained Epiderra, which is supposed to decrease your appetite, and this ingredient is actually banned now. It was banned in 2008. And Anna reportedly took 6 Trim Spa pills per day, and this was the max dose for a single person. And she said that she also took laxatives and had a very restricted diet. And she says you eat like small portions and you do it for like 2 weeks, and also they have a colon cleanser, and you're just like on the pot all the time. You lose weight that quickly. So she kind of had a combination of a limited diet, Trim Spa, and a colon cleanser. And she said her appetite was very suppressed, and she also said Trim Spa suppressed her appetite to a point where she literally had no appetite, and she almost had to force herself to eat. And she told the early show, "I wasn't unhappy at all until everyone just started ridiculing me so bad. I just got to the point where I was just like, my God, you know, just shut up everybody. What is the big deal?" And then I just looked in the mirror and was like, I'm fat. And Anna loved food, and apparently, according to tabloids, she spent $4,000 a month on food, and she craved foods similar to Elvis Presley. So they had kind of the same cravings for high-calorie, unhealthy foods, and I think they both were similar in that they like to binge food. And some of Anna's favorite foods were mashed potatoes, gravy, pizza, fried bologna and cheese, biscuits, burgers, and pickles, and she just loved hearty Southern comfort foods. And she was also a chocolate fanatic, and her favorite chocolates were Godiva chocolates, and she demanded these chocolates when she did photo shoots for Guess jeans. And one of her favorite combinations was fried chicken and chocolates. And she actually started out as a chicken slinger in Mexi, Texas at the restaurant Crisper Fried Chicken before she became famous. And she dropped out of high school at the age of 15 and started working at Crisper Fried Chicken. And this is where she met her first husband, Billy Wayne Smith, who was also a cook there. And they had a kid together when she was only 19 years old. And later in life, she worked at Red Lobster. And the Guess Jeans co-founder, Paul Marciano, discovered her in San Antonio, Texas. And he came up to her and said, "Who are you?" And she had never taken photos or even modeled before. And she immediately moved to Texas to New York City and signed with a modeling agency. And in her diary, she admitted to buying $3,000 worth of clothing from Neiman Marcus and admitted to starving herself. She kind of has that classic rags to riches story of being discovered at a restaurant. You know, it's kind of like one of those things out of a movie where people fantasize about one day just being swooped off their feet and someone being like, "Oh, you're so beautiful, come model." Just one of those stories that maybe doesn't happen as often as it used to, I'm not sure, but it's just one of those iconic classic stories of being discovered. And when her reality TV show was on the air, it showed Anna scarfing down pizza, pasta at an Italian restaurant. And the show was actually a major hit when it first came out, and the audiences couldn't get enough of the star. And this show debuted in 2002 on the E! Network, and it starred Anna Nicole Smith and a whole bunch of characters. And it showcased issues around her health, former modeling career, and financial struggles. And it was very quirky and funny, and it also highlighted some of her darker days. And many people think that Anna was taken advantage of during the filming of the show. And they almost made her look bad to pick up ratings and portrayed her in a negative light. And she was actually one of the first TV reality powerhouses, but the show took a toll on her mental health in 2004 when she introduced Kanye West at the American Music Awards. She acted very strangely on stage and was slurring her words. And a lot of her health issues were actually due to her breast implants, including chronic back pain and seizures. And the night before the American Music Awards, she actually had 2 seizures. And she was most likely in a lot of pain and in taking a lot of medication during the show, and a lot of people asked her not to do it, but she wanted to make the appearance. And sadly, Anna Nicole Smith passed away on February 8th, 2007 at 2:49 p.m. of an accidental drug overdose. She had numerous different drugs in her system and passed away at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino in Hollywood, Florida. And I felt really sad researching her because it just seems like her death could have been prevented. She was super sick at the time with a flu and needed medical attention, and she should have gone to the hospital. So it's shocking that the nurses and doctors working for her didn't insist that she go to the hospital, but she was too afraid of the media frenzy surrounding her. So it's almost like the media in many ways killed her. And she also had an infection from the human growth hormones that she was injecting into her hip area, and there was apparently pus coming out of there, and she was doing this for weight loss. And strangely enough, she had the same drugs in her system that were also found in Marilyn Monroe's system at the time of her death. And Anna Nicole Smith was obsessed with Marilyn Monroe. And people compared her to the star, and it's very strange and ironic that they both had chloral hydrate in their bodies at the time of their death. And apparently Anna Nicole Smith said before that she'll probably never live past 40. She really idolized Marilyn Monroe, and she even had a lot of her items and photos of Marilyn Monroe in her apartment. And Anna Nicole Smith definitely had a short life that was filled with a lot of tragedy. It's really shocking when you hear and read about her. Her own son died in the hospital bed next to her a few days after her daughter was born. You can't make this stuff up. And he actually died of a lethal combination of antidepressant and painkillers. And Anna was just devastated by this news. And I think that's what led again to her consuming more painkillers and antidepressants, which ended up being a lethal combination. But it's really interesting looking back at her life, and I think she'll always be remembered as this glamorous, almost tragic figure in pop culture, and I feel like we lost her too soon. It's just so sad reading about her, and she actually seemed like a really smart person. I think she played things up on camera and kind of portrayed this image, and it's almost like the media and fame killed her in many ways. and I feel like they just scrutinized her so much about her weight, which caused her to take all those pills and those hormone injections, which made her sick. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the big red button below. Also, I have a YouTube membership, and with this membership you get a bonus video a month. These are DIY style videos where I do different arts and crafts projects. I recently recreated an old Hollywood feather lamp, and I also do one monthly live stream where I do a Redbird vintage unboxing or vintage haul and a Q&A, and those are really fun and they're around an hour or so long. And you also get 20% off Vintage Doll Cosmetics, my vintage inspired beauty brand, and a free vintage inspired mirror with your first purchase. So this is located right next to my subscribe button. You'll see a join button. So I hope to see you guys there. Alright, I'll see you soon. Bye!